Disclaimer: I doubt R. Kelly can actually fly.
Well, I'd be lying to you if I said it hadn't been a hard season being a fan of the Detroit Red Wings. It really hasn't been a good season. The playoff streak is over. Whole lot of other happenings during the season and during the off-season have kind of made it a really sucky season overall. To be a Detroit Red Wings fan, we really have not had a lot to cheer about. That said, last season at the Joe Louis Arena before we moved to Little Caesars Arena next season, and with the Joe Louis Arena closing down, our last game for the season tomorrow against New Jersey Devils is obviously going to be complete with a lot of octopus throwing. Now, for those of you that don't know what the whole octopus throwing thing is, it's from back when there were only 6 teams in the National Hockey League, and teams only needed to win 8 playoff games to lift the Stanley Cup. But as tough as it's been to be a fan of the Red Wings this season, it's nowhere near as tough as going through life, constantly giving opinions where they're not asked for, and constantly giving opinions where you clearly do not have a clue what the hell you're talking about. And that's where the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA for short, come in. Because once again, they're running their mouths, showing how little they know, and this time, ladies and gentlemen, they have had the audacity to target my favourite National Hockey League team. Now, as it stands, there's meant to be a couple of punishments in place for anyone caught octopus throwing at Red Wings games, as mandated by the city of Detroit. You face a fine of up to $500, you face getting kicked out of the game, and you don't get your octopus back. So, there's 3 pretty sucky things that you face if you're caught chucking the octopus on the ice. However, for the most part, as it's team tradition, generally officials tend to look the other way when it happens. So, what do the lovely pests from PETA want to put in place in this case? They want anyone who is caught octopus throwing fined up to $5,000 and to be barred from the Joe Louis Arena for life. That last part's really harsh. Bearing in mind there is only one more game ever to be played at the Joe Louis Arena before it's torn down. But I digress. Anyway, this isn't the first time that PETA have decided to butt into someone else's business where it doesn't concern them in the name of ethical treatment of animals. Yeah. For a group who call themselves the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA have a pretty sketchy history when it comes to ethics, but I'll get to that later. Anyways, PETA sent out a letter, and I will read that letter, and it's actually pretty funny because it kind of shows how little these people actually know what they're talking about. I mean, it's PETA, it's part of the course, they never do know, but here's the letter anyways. Octopuses are intelligent, sensitive animals who feel pain, and it's no more acceptable to kill one for such a disrespectful, frivolous, and stupid purpose than it is to throw a dead bear cub onto the ice during a Bruins game. It's no more acceptable to kill them for a decades-old tradition than it is to harm any other living beings. Wow, we're already off to a rip-roaring start. Okay, first off, I would make a snarky comment about the use of the term octopuses, as I've always been brought up told that the plural of octopus is octopi, but apparently as I've been advised, octopuses is technically correct, so I can't really throw any shade at them for that one. But yeah, this redundant bit about going out killing octopuses. I agree that it's not acceptable to kill octopuses, but yeah, PETA, here's the thing. The octopi are usually dead before they're chucked onto the ice. There are a lot of businesses in Detroit which sell seafood, which usually do pretty good business during the regular season of the NHL, because they sell a lot of octopodes. People buy the octopuses to throw on the ice in celebration. It is a tradition, and one that dates back many, many years. As for the thing about the bear cub, that's just a silly, silly comparison. Nobody could smuggle in a bear cub, let alone pick one up and throw it. Unless, say the Ultimate Warrior was still alive and, just went full gorilla press slam and heaved it over the glass. But see, the thing is, he wouldn't be able to get away with that because, if you've ever seen the Ultimate Warrior cut a promo, he'd just start going on about thunder and lightning and feeling the power of the warrior before press slamming the bear, so it really wouldn't work. But anyway, that's a ridiculous comparison, and as I say, clearly they're jumping to conclusions because the octopi are dead. Before they hit the ice, before they're even in the arena, they're not taking live octopuses and chucking them on the ice. They're already dead. Kono tako wa mo shinderu for you Festive North Star fans out there. The nuisances from PETA go on to say that they strongly advise Christopher Ilitch, the current owner of the Detroit Red Wings, to impose this ridiculously steep fine and lifetime game ban. Because, there's something that really makes me think, oh look, an organization of extremely dishonest and unethical people who lie, bluff, and guilt people, all in the name of allegedly ethical treatment of animals, is strongly advising me something. Oh no, they written me a strongly worded, completely factually wrong, incorrect letter. Gasp. Anyway, they go on to write a thing about octopi being extremely intelligent and self-aware and have 10,000 more genes than humans do. Like other sea animals, including fish, they use tools, communicate with one another, and form social bonds. They basically write a big paragraph talking about how grouse it is to be an octopus, because it wouldn't be PETA without going to ridiculous hyperbole and trying to guilt people into repenting for doing wrong in the eyes of a bunch of people that euthanize more animals than they save. See, here's the thing, okay? Like I rambled on about before, the octopi are dead. You are complaining about people exploiting octopi for a silly game tradition. It's sports law. Teams have tradition. Fans have traditions. I cannot reiterate this enough. The octopi are dead. And okay, so maybe people shouldn't use actual ex-living octopi. But no one makes fake rubber octopi. There's money in it, but no one's doing it. I mean, I personally like what the Florida Panthers fans do. They chuck little rubber rats on the ice. I mean, the really, really cool thing is if Brad Marchand ever gets traded to Florida and they're having Brad Marchand bobble night, then they're pretty much pre-ammoing their crowd if Brad Marchand ever scores a hat-trick. But I digress. Anyway, PETA wants to go on about ethical treatment of animals. This is the same group of people that throw out such idiotic propaganda such as claiming milk is a white supremacist symbol so we should stop drinking milk. Chicken makes men impotent and shrinks what they're working with, which again is ridiculous. Every time a new Pokemon game is released, there's PETA overkilling it with the hyperbole again, showing they haven't played any of the games. They're just guessing and stabbing blindly in the dark. And once again, we have another case here where they assumed, obviously, from someone telling them that people threw octopi on the ice during Red Wings games, that they were either going out smuggling in live octopi that would die on the ice, or they were killing octopi themselves to chuck. PETA lie a lot. They lie, they get facts wrong, they do not let the truth get in the way of a good story, and this is just another case of PETA letting their want to guilt people into a single mindset override the ability to run a simple Google search so they actually appeared to know what the hell they were talking about. You want to talk ethics, Peter? Let's put it this way. You go on about you want to save the octopuses, you want to save all the animals on the earth. Animals not here for our exploitation, animals not here for use, tools, food, shelter, clothing, whatever. Okay? Here's some numbers for you, people. You want to know how ethical PETA really are? Okay, here you go. PETA, last year they took in a grand total of 1,963 cats and dogs. Of those cats and dogs they took in, they euthanized 1,411. They saved just over 500. So just over a third of the animals they took in, they rehomed. The other 2/3, they murdered in cold blood. So I really do not think that PETA as an organisation have any right to tell anyone else how to treat animals. You don't know what you're talking about, PETA, so shut it. I'm Damien Skyfire. Till next time.